You're live. You're live. Okay, take two, because the previous one wanted to do a chat. I haven't decided yet if I will try and do a Q&A maybe closer to the holidays, but so few people ask me any legitimate questions in the comments that I don't know if there's any reason. So in the catalog, the territory ahead, they showed the, let's read it, Mountain Air denim shirt. I guess we're supposed to believe Peterman writes all these reviews. I don't know. I sketched this design as I people watched one afternoon, sitting outside a little outfitter shop nestled on a cobblestone street in La Cumbrecita, a small Argentinian town. Maybe I pronounced that correctly. Halfway up a mountain, it has several great pedestrian-only, quote-unquote, streets. This embroidery design has that gaucho flair, supported by the simplicity of soft, undyed soft denim, snap buttons, classic fit, color natural, $100, right? Okay, so I thought, well, that one looks all right. I'll get that one in a extra large, and hopefully, now I haven't washed it yet. I haven't tried to shrink it yet. I just took it out of the bag. But it is a thin denim. We'll talk about denim shirts a little bit. But anyway, I just got this one. And so I was going to do a flannel shirt review with much less expensive flannel than the Karl Morawski flannel shirt videos. But the other flannel shirts didn't show up yet. This one did. So I decided I would finally do my next installment of most of the cowboy shirts that I didn't show in the previous video. And of course, if you watched my Tacovas video, I wore the cheapest of the cheap to be yuck, 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 you know, but this one, a size too small. Most of these are a size too small now. And this one has a loose thread that's going to annoy me. So yeah, stuff like this, especially when they taper down at the waist, like Wrangler and Levi's and Eli Cattleman and some of the other brands, you're going to get these snaps popping on you while you bend over or walk or whatever. So that can be kind of a thing. This shirt, on the other hand, the Eli Cattleman have a little bit more generous fit. This is a large and still mostly can wear, and designed in Fort Worth, Texas, but made in China. But I bought this probably during the Bush administration, so it hasn't been worn to death yet. I'm pretty sure I showed this in the last video. So a little scattered right now. But yeah, like I said, I don't know how much, apart from Patrick, if you're watching, hi Patrick. Apart from Patrick, I don't know how many viewers I'll get on a video like this compared to my boot videos, but that's okay because I meant to discuss some of these shirts and hadn't gotten around to it, although they're the same Boot Barn brands. They just bought them a long time ago or whatever, and some of them don't fit, but also Territory does a lot of kind of southwesty looking things and a lot of mountainy looking things, but in terms of actual Western wear, I don't know how popular they are. As I showed in the previous video, I had got this printed t-shirt from them that cost the same amount as this denim shirt, and surely will likely not last as long as the denim shirt, so that was kind of silly. But for an overpriced Henley shirt, I was really annoyed. And so I decided to give that company another chance for whatever reason. They were bought out by Peterman, and I thought maybe that would sort of increase the quality, but not really. Although they did come out with a new version of the officer's field shirt that they're calling something else. What are they calling it? I don't know, it doesn't say on the tag. It might be in that book that I just buried under two shirts, but whatever. But anyway, it's definitely heavier than the officer shirt, but they left off the epaulets, and I think they put a pocket on the sleeve now that I would probably never ever use. And they changed the shape of the flaps slightly, so instead of these flaps, now we get a little more of a of a pointed Ranger style flap, if you can see that slightly. So I'll check that one out. It should be a decent weight for winter, but would I consider this a cowboy shirt? Not so much, more of a mountain kind of shirt. Whereas cowboy shirts, of course, if we're going to go again back to this one. Now this one is, I don't know if this one is double layered, but I think it's a double layered yoke. Traditionally, this should be a double layered yoke on the back and the shoulder. And then the fancy stitching and stuff, in this case, this kind of, over the top embroidery, obviously. And, the shape of this can vary. The shape of this flap can vary. But typically snaps instead of buttons, although that can also vary. A lot of times, though, like I said, a real tapered waist can be the issue. And with this kind of thing, you don't get any adjustable cuffs most of the time. So if you want your cuff narrower, you can't really put it narrower. If you want only 2 buttons here, you've got 3 snaps. Really hard to kind of get a tailor to do too much with a lot of these, unfortunately, as opposed to a regular Oxford, or like in the case of this one, you even have this extra snap, which I think is also what's going on here. Yeah. So when I try this on later, I don't know if they can adjust this as much as I would like, where I need it to, because, well, let's just cut to the chase. I was going to do this at the end of the video, but one second. Taking off the vest. And so putting on this shirt on top of the other shirt, we see that the sleeves are too long and the shoulders are not quite in the right spot or something. So again, I don't know how much this will shrink before I try to take it in. Otherwise, the body is, overall, I guess, fine. So this is the kind of thing that drives me nuts. So I guess I can roll up the sleeves if I had to. So that's one of the things with off the rack shirts, is this is not in the right place where they're going to have enough material to adjust it here without your armpit becomes even more too tight, whereas you have extra material up here sometimes, although maybe not a ton in this case. I thought for sure the seam would be down to here, and it's actually up kind of high. So they cut the arms pretty narrow and just made them way too long for the average guy who might be extra large, but not extra tall. Does that work for you? Okay, so that's enough clowning around for Saturday afternoon. And this is an inexpensive leather vest that is also, they tend to come a size too small because you're not really supposed to snap them up. You're supposed to just wear them for looks. Anyway, so I have a whole bunch of these Blair ones that I got. They were not very expensive, though. I think I had coupons. I got a brown one. All a size too small now from when I bought them. This one with a more subtle embroidery. So maybe I'll be selling these soon, but those ones are a little dark for you to really see. Anyway, a much more substantial denim, or a little bit more substantial. Also a cheap Blair one that I think I showed in a previous video, but also with your embroidery on the thing and the embroidery on the yokes. So I might, if I can't fit into this shirt, I might just cut this off and put it on the back of a jacket or something and just use this denim for something else, because this is not very thick denim. And that other, I meant to throw it closer than farther. Yeah, it's more of a twill than a denim to me. It's not very slubby. It's not textured. I don't know why they're calling it denim, except to make it sound tougher than it is. I mean, for a shirt, I'm sure it's fine. It doesn't feel as thick as this twill, though, that cost a third of the price, but how many years ago? So maybe more like half the price now, and probably polyester blend now. I don't know. Hard to say what. I haven't bought any new shirts from Eli Cattleman in a long time, or Panhandle Slim, or whatever. Okay, so reading this tag, if I can read this tag, it does seem to say 100% cotton. This print is so tiny I cannot read this. I can't read this at all. Okay. Machine wash, tumble dry low. Care on reverse. So it doesn't say made in on that tag. Where are you made? Who made you? I'm pretty sure that says China. I can barely read that if you can read that. Good luck. Anyway, all right, so much like the designed in Texas and the probably this one too. This one does say 100% cotton. And also made in China, yes. So 3 cowboy shirts, all made in China. It's gonna be a lot of that if we keep going. Put this on here. So that's where we are now. But there are, if we're just looking at strictly Western styles, well, this one's still in the bag, but you can kind of see that it's got a rose and some red. So this is kind of more your singing cowboy kind of look that I was going to attempt to go for at one point before we all got trapped in our homes by something about China. I don't know what design this one is. Let's open it up because it's been sitting in a bag for 4 or 5 years. since I stopped going out to play music and stuff at places. There you go. I can take more patches. I could maybe take off the shirt and put on a jacket or something and not be a total waste of money, because I doubt that I'm squeezing into these larges anytime soon. Now, and I also got this one, which we don't have to take this one out of the bag. I don't think you can get it. If we can get the shine off the plastic, you can kind of see the design well. A little more of a teal. A lot of them come in teal, which is a color that is probably not very popular with most people. But I don't mind teal too much because, again, I'm wearing kind of a seafoam minty blue already. Then, of course, something like this I showed before, I know. This one actually still fits, though, in a large roper. Made in Macau, wherever Macau is. Tahiti, maybe? Somewhere there. And I think I showed all of these before. I'll show them again before we get to the nicer ones. Stuff like this was the printed 2-tone or whatever, 3-tone, whatever style of the day. Again, this brand roper fits a little bit bigger than some of the other ones. I think these are the ones I can still squeeze into. Oh wait, here's another Blair one, also large. Another teal green kind of deal going on. So yeah, I bought a whole batch of these and I've not worn them. They've all been in a storage bin, and I just dug them out. And I have some other ones in another storage bin that I won't be able to show. Whereas here, Panhandle Slim, this one let me down. This one says extra large, but this one I know runs small. Very pretty. I know I showed this one before. I don't think I can fit in this particular one though. Cumberland Outfitters in a large. I'm not sure. I know I showed these in the last video. This one has kind of this cowboy singing thing going on. So like I said, shirt that I got more for. Oh, I'll have fun performing in that or whatever. This one, kind of a psychedelic 60s design almost. This one's got this raggedy collar and other stuff going on it. I might use this fabric for something else if it doesn't fit. What is this? Custom vintage rags. And it's designed to look kind of like a rag. So there's that. Whereas here's a true retro one. I forget if I showed this one before. I actually got this from an old neighbor who used to go square dancing all the time, so they were trying to dress as hokey pokey as they possibly could. This one says extra large, and I think it also runs small. Rock mount ranch wear custom fitted, which of course is not true. If it says extra large, it means it's off the rack, not custom fitted. Sure, okay, True West made in USA from, I don't know, 30 years ago or maybe longer. Don't know how long he had this. But he couldn't fit it in anymore, so he gave it to me, and I probably can't fit it in anymore either, because I'm sure it runs small. Here's the Matthew McConaughey special from one of my thumbnails. This was one, I wish this one still fit. Large, yeah. It has a little bit of embroidery on the back, but I was going to add some more embroidery to go with it. Maybe the Sweetheart of the Rodeo, some kind of design based on that. Never got around to it, and now the shirt doesn't fit. And what brand is this? I don't know. This was a Boot Barn one though. This is Ruddick Manufacturing Company since 1955. Flying R Ranch Wear, made in USA. So this one's pretty close to authentic as you're going to get in a modern age. But of course, I didn't buy in a modern age. I bought it like 20 years ago, before I bought a bunch of these other cheap Blair ones, because at the time that still fit. And so there you go. Here's one that's not technically Cowboy, but I'm going to mention it because it was going to be the kickoff of my flannel shirt video. Was this LL Bean, which is it's kind of a hybrid mountain cowboy look, because they put the yokes, the contrasting yokes on here, and they put the snaps on here. But this is supposed to be like a technical wool, they call it, but it's 100% polyester, but it feels more like a typical brushed cotton, just kind of a nice warm. And surprisingly, it still more or less fits in a size large from back when LL Bean 10 years ago still gave you a little bit more generous before their skinny fit takeover. So you can kind of see the contrast, but it's not a totally true Western yoke. And someone told me this color was like the barfiest orange shirt he'd ever seen or something like that. So I figured I was on the right track. I also have a green one somewhere out in the storage bin, I think. So jumping from that then to real wool, of course, I've worn this one, Pendleton, for the channel. So this is the Canyon shirt or whatever instead of the Lodge shirt. So you still have the flat pockets, but you don't have the sawtooth flat pockets. You still have the back yoke. You still have the shoulder yokes. You don't have a collar stay in the collar. I don't know if they do collar stays in the other collars, but you don't have one here. Also a size large, so a little bit tight on me, I think. And I don't think Pendleton is as roomy as they could be, but they're pretty close. So that was a Canyon there. And of course, they have a little bit of this fabric here to keep you from itching as bad around the collar. But if you are hypersensitive to wool, of course, they are wool. Hopefully they haven't changed the blend of the fabric or anything. I don't know. This is made in Mexico of USA fabric. Okay. But this one's older. I've had this for a few years. Why is this? High grade Western wear. And then it says the same thing in French or something. And it just says 100% virgin wool. Lining 65% polyester, 35% cotton. So the lining's still part polyester, but the wool should be wool. Oh, I forgot this one. Okay. Who was this? Somebody. I don't know. I got this. I got these weird denim pants a long time ago that don't fit me now, but they had this kind of embroidery kind of thing going on. They were doing their thing, and so I had managed to find a couple denim shirts that kind of matched that. That of course don't fit me now either. I really like this one. I did Yeah, large 20X Extreme. 20 Extreme. I don't know who they are. I never heard of these brands. I just grabbed them. And, okay. And now they're all size too small. But this one's a really nice. It's got kind of a, a kind of a gritty feeling to it, but it's not super thin like the other one. So it's still got a little bit of heft. Although all the extra fading and stuff that, does nothing for me. I would just as soon have had a regular new color denim shirt if I didn't already have those faded pants to try and wear them with for that 3 months or whatever I got to use the thing. But yeah, there's quite a bit of a yoke there with some alternate stitching and all that. So maybe I'll find some practical use for this kind of thing again if I can, I don't know, lose 80 pounds or whatever. Sorry, brief detour. So going back to Pendleton, so I had this one from before that I hadn't worn yet that has kind of a southwesty canyon look to it, but this is not the canyon shirt. This is the, what does it say? I don't see it. Oh, maybe it's up under this plastic thing. Yeah, this is the Lodge shirt, which overall I think is the better design of the two. There's a third one called something I forget, and then there's the board shirt, which I'll talk about in a minute. The Lodge shirt, I think, is the one that doesn't have the patches on the sleeve, if memory serves. It's just a regular button shirt with one pocket instead of whatever the other one is. And then the Canyon shirt, of course, is the Western style cowboy shirt, but this one I got at the same time as I got that one, probably. So those designs you can't get anymore. They changed their designs. So this one, the board shirt, like this is not my favorite design at all, but this was on sale for only $126 instead of now the $186. So the price has gone way up. So if you buy the ugly colors that nobody wants or whatever, you can get a discount because they were like $109 like 2 years ago or something. So I don't know how many more Pendleton shirts I need, but I figured I'd grab this one since it was on special. But this is the flat pockets with no buttons. It's got the big buttons instead of regular buttons. It doesn't have any cowboy snaps. It doesn't have any cowboy yokes. It doesn't have any this or that. It's just their original style wool shirt. And hopefully it's still 100% wool. I'd have to open it up to see all that. But I assume an extra large of this will fit better than the Territory extra large because I have other Pendleton shirts. Okay. And I did a whole video on wool shirts way back when, 2 years ago or whatever, that probably not very many people have watched. So I'll put that in this new playlist as well, and we'll be done pretty soon here. And so this one, I did pay full price just to get this design. Whether or not that was a good idea, I don't know. But this one has the cowboy snaps and the cowboy yokes and the da-da-da, and it's a little less dark than that other one, but basically the same shirt, but in a bigger size. So I don't have to worry about it not being the right size. So I had to pay extra to get one shirt that, is that worth that price? Not, I don't know, maybe not if you're buying 6 of them, but if you're, if you just really, really want a wool shirt, because 2 years ago I was wearing these things pretty often, and then last year I didn't wear them like at all. So kind of varies from year to year whether I need them. Okay, but now getting into, now there's other ones that I don't have. I don't know where they are. They're in the bin somewhere. But these are the ones I definitely did not show last time. And I thought I had more than this. Like I said, hiding somewhere. But they're a little meant to look more like the true. But these are, this one is 65 poly, 35 rayon. So it's definitely meant to be more of a showman piece than a performance piece. Or performance meaning, actually out roping cows and junk. This is more of a singing cowboy kind of look, I would say. Or you're going line dancing or whatever, you might want a little bit of extra flash or old style panache or whatever. Again, all these are probably the wrong size, but these are thicker fabric, heavier polyester twill with a lot more you know, stylistic things going on, rockabilly and, you know, 50s and 60s country, you know, show band look to it more than you might want for, you know, daily wear. And these were, I think, twice the price of a lot of their regular shirts, even though the material is, you know, polyester. But but yeah, so here's a, I have a teal one in a engineer shirt, I think they're called, with the button placket, like John Wayne actually wore in several movies. That one didn't cost as much as these, I don't think. I don't know. Sheplers and Boot Barn had them for a while. I don't know if they still do. But so here, this one's a really, really nice looking one. I think these are all, yeah, these are all panhandle slim. So here you got, yeah, see, like this kind of thing. Very more, you know, embroidered, a lot more decorative stitching. All the beautiful work on the collar, all the beautiful work under the yoke, like I was talking about with that other one where there was a little bit of embroidery along here, but nothing big down here, which is more kind of what I was going for. This one I kind of bought as an afterthought. I already had the next one, and then I saw this one and was like, yeah, I might as well just grab it because, you know, it's my size, which of course back then was my size. My poor shirts, they don't, you know, they're lovely to look at, but one of these days I'll have to figure out how to get them where I can wear them again. Because, yeah, I don't know if this is the same material. I'm pretty sure they're all the same material. They're all pretty thick. Where's the That just says, oh yeah, no. Yeah, same thing. 65% poly, made in China. So all the Western wear has been made in China for well over 20 years. Or not all, but a fair amount. Yeah. No, this one's made in Macau though. So this one was not made in China. This was made in wherever Macau is again. But you got your fake. I think in the real shirts, a lot of times this was a real pocket. Whereas on these, it's just a gimmick. I thought I had one that did have a real pocket, but I guess it's not this brand. But these are, I mean, you know, like I said, these are for show. These are not, you know, your daily workwear shirts. So of course I don't have 10 of them like the Blair ones that cost way less. You know, I just have 3 or 4. And where the other one went, I don't know. And again, polyester being this heavy, thick, gross fabric that even I don't like, but there was no other way to get shirts like this. You know, I'd have to pay a pretty good amount to get something tailored to look like these, well above what the cost of these was. Whereas, like I said, these printed ones, I'm pretty sure these are all cotton, and they were, you know, just the regular shirt price. Yeah. Whether you can find these in all cotton anymore, don't ask me, don't know. I haven't been shopping for a while because I already have a whole bunch of these lying around, and every year I get to figure out which ones fit and which ones don't. So yeah, there's another 30-minute video about shirts, and I'll be doing the flannel shirts. I guess next week we'll give it a little time to breathe. We'll give people a chance to watch this one, all 4 of you. See how it goes. As always, if there are any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll try and respond with something intelligible in a timely manner, unlike some video guys who just have way better things to do, I guess.